Hello, you're watching news from Kazakhstan on K+. It is Saturday, March 30th, and these are the headlines.
Stolichny supermarket warehouse was set fire in Almaty. It took 5 hours to put out the flames. The Attorney General demands punishment for Interior Department heads for concealing crimes. 30 cases instigated so far. A factory goes bankrupt. Employees of Silesium Kazakhstan in Karaganda go on strike.
The administrative building of Stolichny supermarket caught fire in downtown Almaty on Friday. It took firefighters almost 5 hours to put out the flames. There are 2 casualties that were taken to hospital and diagnosed with carbon monoxide poisoning, though they refused hospitalization. We turn to our first report from the scene of the incident.
The first call about the fire in the heart of Almaty was received by rescuers at 1:40 p.m. However, according to eyewitnesses, the firefighters arrived only 2 hours later. I was passing by on Abulay Khan Street and noticed the smoke. I came up closer. I haven't seen anyone rendering help to anyone. There wasn't much smoke at first, yet later around 4 p.m. they were still unable to put it out. I parked by Stolichny grocery store to buy patty cakes and then I noticed the smoke. Firefighters began arriving at the scene. It's been on fire for about half an hour. Need more water? There is none. However, the firefighters had plenty of problems on Friday aside from late response. According to the Department of Emergency, the containment of fire involved 10 fire trucks and 6 units of special equipment. Staff of Stolichny grocery store was evacuated. However, their personal belongings, including mobile phones and money, remained in the burning building. Security, which cordoned off the building to prevent looting, refused to let the store employees back inside. One of the women started feeling bad due to overall confusion. According to reports of DES of Almaty, the fire ran through a total of 400 square meters. The rescuers promised to reveal the ignition cause and inflicted damage after the investigation.
The Attorney General's office blamed the Interior Ministry for concealing the real number of crimes. According to Kazakhstan's chief prosecutor Askhad Daulbayev, this is not the police's first year engaging in falsifications. The head of the supervisory authority was indignant as to why none of the police officers found guilty of covering up for crimes were fired yet.
According to the prosecutor's office, the police is over-reporting the crime detection rate in order to improve their performance rating. In this regard, Deputy Attorney General Nurmuhammad Isayev issued stern instructions to the Ministry of Internal Affairs to restore order and punish the perpetrators within 1 month. Prosecutors revealed the real extent of concealment of crime statistics by police upon calculating the number of applications of citizens submitted through internet. According to the Attorney General, who brought up the shocking statistics, those guilty of concealing the crime stats still haven't faced the consequences of their actions. No adequate measures have been taken regarding the civil servants, including their leadership, who were suppressing the facts of real crime rate. In 2012, the prosecutors revealed 1,813 instances of suppressing the crime rate. However, the leadership of regional law enforcement who allowed this to happen hasn't been dismissed from their posts. Only 30 criminal cases have been initiated against law enforcement officers on charges of suppression of crime rate so far.
Officials in Kazakhstan are planned to be seriously taken to task. Certain analysts believe reforms are needed in the field of public administration. The Civil Service Agency has started implementing its ideas, namely removing the word bastik, meaning chief, from the political dictionary at the initiative of the agency's head Baymenov. In this next story, our reporters attempt to find out whether this will improve public servants' work.
10 years ago, the economist Kanat Birintai proposed the idea of hiring local administration heads on contract basis. He explained that the local administration head is a manager who gets assigned with a task. If he fails to fulfill the promises and meet the goals at the given period, he then must expect the punishment up to criminal persecution. In case if they fail to fulfill their contractual obligations, it is possible to dismiss them in accordance with the labor code at any time. Currently, one of the key questions of the referendum which opposition is trying to hold is actually the election of local administration heads. Social activist Marat Januzakov is one of the most active supporters of the general elections of local administration heads. He cites the strike in Zhanaozen as a vivid case when Mayor Kusherbayev didn't support the oil workers and citizens. In general, he worked properly, and I think that he served his people, but only until the oil workers' strike began. Once the interests clashed, he sided with the authorities. Recently, the Agency for Civil Service made an appointment to the law on administrative service. The idea behind the amendment is to make the top official resign if his subordinate committed corruption offenses. However, according to explanation of Bakhtiar Kamalov, a public servant, this rule doesn't apply to the main government official, the head of state. Well, this law has nothing to do with the president. This law is on public service, and this legislation, in accordance with the law, doesn't apply to the president. Deletion of the word head from the register of public office positions is also a part of the modernization of public administration. According to initiators of this idea, the word head is associated with the image of a lord who must be treated with finest dishes. It is not yet clear whether this rebranding will improve the image of the officials.
Up to 300 Karaganda silicon metal factory workers went on strike demanding the management of Sicilian Kazakhstan to pay them salary arrears. According to the laborers, they have not been paid for 2 months. The last time, on the eve of Nowruz, they were handed $100 each instead of the promised $500.
The administration of the plant met with striking workers. The workers were promised that the salaries will be paid in the near future, but the plant will lay off 80% of staff due to bankruptcy. As it turned out, the founders of the plant owe to Development Bank of Kazakhstan about $106 million. It didn't pay pension payments for 8 months, and they also prolonged payments of hazardous duty benefits. They keep paying us low wages, just like in 2010, when they were paying $450 to $590 a month, although they promised us fantastic conditions. Salaries are paid with big delays. We've filed numerous complaints to the taxation agency that sent a staff member who then fined the plant and does nothing after that. They have personal ties everywhere. What makes us common people guilty? On March 28th of this year, Alexander Sutyaginsky, the former director of the plant Silesium Kazakhstan, was sentenced to 12 years in prison for the murder of a business person. Currently, the company is headed by Olga Nikiforovna, a member of the board of directors of Titan Group of companies. However, she refrained to comment on the matter. To recap, the silicon metal production plant was built in December of 2008. The founders of this company are Basco, Titan and a German company. GSC company Biochim, the ethanol producer connected with Silicon Kazakhstan, has failed to make money due to problems with delivery of products to the markets. Both projects were funded by the Bank of Kazakhstan, and now Silesium has a debt of $106 million. Currently, the plant is not operating.
Parents of a Pavlodar child that died in hospital turned to the Prime Minister asking to punish its doctors. 2 weeks ago, 1.5-year-old Aybar Madiyev died at the Regional Children's Hospital after being in a coma for more than 4 months. More details up next.
Little Aybar didn't even live 2 years, according to his parents. At the end of October 2012, the little boy choked on ice. His family immediately called an ambulance and the boy was taken to Children's Hospital. Doctors have taken a series of measures, but the baby's condition got worse. He fell into trance coma. Later, in mid-March, little Aybar died without regaining consciousness. The family of the deceased boy is convinced that doctors are to blame. Aybar's death is the result of criminal negligence. This wasn't a complex medical case report, nor was it the fast-evolving event that left no time for the doctor to react properly. The child was suffocating and remained in critical condition for 48 hours. Meanwhile, the doctors themselves don't plead guilty. They claim that they've done everything possible to save the child, although the hospital staff refused to discuss their actions with the journalists. The child received all necessary treatment, all required measures were taken, and all procedures according to the diagnosis and treatment protocol were performed. We shouldn't be discussing what specific measures were they and what specific steps doctors have taken. Now the death of little Aybar is investigated by police. Criminal case was initiated against medical staff on charges of improper performance of the duties. The commission has already been appointed. A forensic examination is scheduled. All necessary investigative actions are being taken. Aybar's family is confident that child's death was the result of medical negligence. In order to make it public, demanding severe punishment for the staff of the Regional Children's Hospital, Aybar's parents appealed to the prosecutor's office, the Ministry of Health, and the blog of the Prime Minister of Kazakhstan. Moreover, the family insists on involvement of independent forensic experts to investigation because they are very skeptical about impartial attitude of Pavlodar specialists.
Meanwhile, 52-year-old Muhammad Berik Turekenov from Semey won almost $7,000 from his doctors through litigation, the amount that the emergency hospital owes him for a lost leg.
As late as in March last year, the man felt pain in his heart and called the ambulance. After intramuscular injection, he felt pain in the leg. Family doctors have taken no measures for 3 months until the ill was operated in the regional center of Ust-Kamenogorsk. My right leg is 7 centimeters shorter than my left leg. I cannot find a job now. Who will hire me when young people can get a job?
Next up on the program. Shymkent's family medicine clinic patients came out to take part in the protest action against the sale of the clinic to private ownership, which would force them to travel to another clinic located more than 5 kilometers from home. The regional health department is attempting to comfort the population.
Discontented patients at Telman department have been gathering near the clinic for several days in a row. The rumors of selling the clinic spread really fast. I was born here and I have lived here ever since. This hospital was here since I was little. We used to have a clinic over there, but it was destroyed. The clinic is now inside. We were told to vacate the building on April 1st, but we don't want to leave. According to the residents, the medical personnel of the clinic will start receiving patients in a different outpatient clinic 5 kilometers from the village. However, the elders and pensioners are against going to the new clinic. The clinic is providing medical services to 70 to 80,000 people. There is a line of 50 to 60 people at each door. You have to wait your turn for a month according to the appointment card. The bribes have been legalized, and if you want to skip the line, you have to pay $4. As for the bribes, every man has the right to report it to the appropriate authorities. As for long lines, we all know that there are 1 million of residents living in Shymkent according to unofficial statistics. District hospital network will continue working even in the legal entity of rural outpatient clinic is liquidated. The old clinic is over 40 years. It was the only clinic in the village with a population of 60,000. 45,000 people are serviced by the clinic. The rural outpatient clinic underwent capital repairs last year. Now the residents see what the real reason was for renovation. Patients said that they heard the news of the clinic sale from doctors. Regional health administration officials assure that the clinic is operating as usual, however, with only district doctors. There are plans for an entire unification of medical institutions of the district.
Russia's Federal Anti-Monopoly Agency Deputy Chair Andrei Tsyganov sees no Kazakh products in Moscow's stores. He reported at Almaty's conference on Friday, where Russian, Kazakhstani and Belarusian officials debated on the single economic space legislature over competitiveness. More details up next.
Andrei Tsygankov, the Russian official, would love to buy the Kazakh delicacies and natural drinks in Moscow. However, he is perplexed. It was thought that the Eurasian Economic Union removes the administrative barriers, but the Kazakhstan traders are still missing at the markets. It all depends on the actions of the people and the level of their preparedness to bear the new market entrances costs, reinforce their presence and conduct negotiations with their consumers. This is what makes up a lively and healthy competition that will benefit all of us. On the other hand, Aldash Ayzhanov clearly understands the fears of Kazakhstan entrepreneurs. The size of enterprises of the state in customs union are in different weight categories. Thus, the Kazakhstan entrepreneurs cannot stand this competition. I think that one cannot compare the market of Russia and Belarus with that of Kazakhstan. Mainly large businesses operated in Russia, whereas we have only medium and small enterprises. Therefore, our enterprises are losing in this competition. Products and groceries with Made in Kazakhstan labels are hard to find even in Kazakhstan, whereas for Moscow consumer, they're in the category of scarce products. It is possible that the new legislation will change the situation in the market of the customs union. It's meant to secure the consumer protection, increase in competition and simplified licensing. The heads of 3 states plan to sign the bill already in July 2013.
This is our last English language broadcast for now. Thank you for watching. We hope to see you soon.